So, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, the Glencore Senior Leadership Development class, fellow lecturers, lifelong learners, a warm welcome to you. Congratulations on your wonderful achievement. I hope your dreams come true in the days to come. But before we let you go, I thought I'd just share a few stories with you. Just 3 stories from my life that have largely defined the man I am and really embody who I hope to be in the future. The first lesson is really about investing in people. I was born in Bulawayo in Zimbabwe in 1974. My father at that time had 5 children, 2 from previous relationships, but I was my mother's first child. Now, due to the fact that my mother was in training, teaching college when she had me, after my birth, I was handed over to my grandmother. She raised me for the first 5.5 years of my life. Nene, as I called her, is probably the most powerful woman I've ever met. She had a grade 7 education, so she could read, she could write, but that was pretty much it. She was poor, and she never made much money. But she had a great wisdom. She had a great insight into people, and she had a deep devotion to learning. Not in formal classes, as we've all had the privilege of, but really in the day-to-day arena of life. Education is power, she used to declare. She was direct, no nonsense, and she didn't suffer fools gladly. But she loved and adored me beyond description. And as her first grandchild, I wouldn't say I was spoilt, but I was lavished with attention. And without doubt, I can say those were perhaps the most nurturing and supporting years of my life. I haven't had it better in that regard since. I didn't realize it at the time, but in the first 5 years of my existence, the seeds that were planted have largely defined the man who I am today. So why am I telling you a story about my grandmother? In your own life, you're going to encounter certain people who see a spark in you. Besides your parents, there'll be teachers, coaches, bosses, friends, all manner of acquaintances. They will see something in you, some great potential, some light, some spark that even you yourself do not see. And they'll invest in you. Hold on tightly to that investment. It's a gift. And there's going to come a stage where that gift is going to make all the difference in your life. Because of Nene's investment in me, at 5.5 years of age, I was a precocious child. I was well-mannered and polite, but even at that point, I had a reputation in the community for speaking my mind in public and addressing adults as if they were my peers. But life happens, and life moved on. At 5.5, my grandparents took me to live with my parents. I still remember that day vividly. It was traumatic. I didn't speak the language of my dad's family. My younger brother had been born, and I was thrust into a household with 5 other kids. And I wasn't the center of attention anymore. As a younger child, I found my family, this new one, oppressive, unnurturing, and in many respects, simply hostile. But Nene had done her job, and she had done it well. Despite a difficult adjustment, her seed stuck. And as I grew older, the challenges at home diminished, and I grew bolder and more independent. Her investment has molded a big part of who I am today. Now, she wasn't the only person who's invested in me. There were a few other heroes in my youth. I remember my English teacher, Mrs. Wiggum, who saw through my teenage arrogance and nurtured in me a love for reading and drama and acting. I remember John Duna, a Scotsman, who spoke words of destiny into my potential. Throughout your life, people will invest in you. Seek such people. Pursue them aggressively. They will build you, plant hope, open possibilities, make an incredible difference to your life. Similarly, you've got an obligation to invest in other people. Investing in others results in a very serious paradox. And I continually learn this every time I teach, because frequently I learn a lot more than the people I'm teaching. My second lesson is on love, loss, and personal decision making. Even as a little boy, I wanted to get married, and I thought I'd be a brilliant husband. Bit of vanity there. It was a no-brainer. Anyway, in 2002, I started dating this girl. I fell madly in love. I proposed, and we're due to be married and to live happily ever after in 2005. Now, I won't burden you with the gory details, but that relationship didn't work out. And a big part of that was due to my own fault. At pretty much the same time, I left the safety of formal employment and I started my own business. And I was really struggling at the time. Looking back, I can honestly say that the years 2005 to 2007 were the toughest years I've ever had in my life. I was confronted not only with the reality of my own failures, weaknesses, and vanity, but also with the intense pain that comes from realizing that not everyone has your interests at heart. Now, that's easier to accept when you meet people on the journey of your life. But it's a tough realization when you realize that some of your closest family members may not be that different. So I ended this relationship with that woman I loved. Making that decision, to be honest, wasn't that difficult. I've always been decisive, and it was the right thing to do. Living with the consequences of that decision, despite it being the right decision, now that was difficult. Pain, suffering, failure, these force you to look in the mirror and confront the person that you are. Perhaps more importantly, they compel us to make decisions and choices as to the persons we intend to become. Again, and only with the benefit of hindsight, 2005 to 2007 were the years in which I've experienced the most intensive growth in my adult life. In being forced to acknowledge my shortcomings, I grew immensely. In forgiving myself, my heart softened towards others. And it reinforced something we all know deep in our hearts. On the most important decisions in our lives, be it who we marry, our faith, our sincerity, our integrity in our business affairs, our loyalty to our country, these decisions cannot be made as a collective. These decisions, each of us must make on our own. And whilst we can get support, advice, and comfort, life dictates that each one of us must choose our own path in these matters of the heart. The business I started in 2006 flourished. And within a few years, I'd met my goal of being debt-free and a millionaire. In 2014, I married a wonderful woman. Don't settle. You've got to believe that things will work out if you're true to yourself, if you persevere, if you work hard. You've got to be prepared to pay the price. The last lesson is on dying. And here I'm going to borrow extensively from one of the heroes of my youth who I admired, who sadly passed on. And that man is the late Steve Jobs. We're all going to die. That's the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And generally, most of us are scared to die. We may draw comfort and solace from our faith, but as a wise man once said, even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. Being mortal, if you choose, can diminish you. It may cause you to look at life and see it as hopeless, pointless, fatalistic. What's the point if at the end of it all, rich and poor, wise or foolish, we all die? But that's only one choice. Another choice is that being mortal, knowing you're going to die, can actually embolden you. In 50 years' time, if I'm probably going to be dead, What do I have to lose by starting that new business? What do I have to lose by changing my career and radically doing something I have a real passion for? What would happen if I asked that beautiful woman out on a date and she said no? What do I have to lose in picking up that phone and calling my brother or haven't spoken to in 8 years? Death reminds us that we actually have very little to lose. Rather than playing it safe, we've got to pursue our destiny with urgency. We've only got a limited amount of time left. That could be 60 years for some of us in this room. That could be 10 minutes after we depart this function. Keep your death not at the back of your mind, but at the front of it. Rather than it depressing you, it will actually energize you. It will create a sense of urgency. It will make you bold. It will give you perspective. It will make you wise. It will make you dream big dreams. Embrace it. In his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey challenges us to write down what we would want people to say at our obituary, and then live our lives in such a way that we fulfill that. Make the big decisions that will anchor your life now. Know that your life is limited. Don't wait till the storms come, and they will come. None of us are entitled tomorrow. Being aware of your impending death is going to make your life richer, more forgiving, humbler, full of love. You will live a life well lived. Thank you for listening. Wish you all the best in the year to come. God bless you all, and congratulations on this wonderful achievement. Thank you very much.